If a teacher tells you to pay attention, should you ask them for change? One day in Mr. Jackson's classroom, the students were in the middle of a math lesson. It was one of those days when no one seemed to care about the topic, except maybe Mr. Jackson himself. The students' eyes were glazed over, and even the flies in the room looked more lively. In the middle of explaining fractions, Mr. Jackson noticed that Johnny, a kid with a habit of daydreaming, was staring out the window. It was a perfect sunny day, and Johnny's mind was clearly elsewhere. Maybe he was imagining himself outside playing, or maybe he was just trying to figure out what clouds taste like. "Johnny!" Mr. Jackson's voice cut through the daydream. "Pay attention!" The whole class turned to look at Johnny, who blinked rapidly as he snapped back to reality. There was a long pause. Johnny's face twisted in confusion, and he blurted out, should I ask for change?" The class burst into laughter, but Johnny didn't understand what was so funny. He wasn't trying to be a comedian. He was genuinely puzzled. Why would a teacher tell him to pay for something if there was no money involved? Johnny was good with numbers, but not so great with words that had double meanings. Mr. Jackson, trying to keep a straight face, asked, "What do you mean, Johnny?" Johnny shrugged. "Well, you said I should pay attention. If I pay, shouldn't I get change back?" The laughter grew louder. Even Mr. Jackson couldn't hold it in anymore. He chuckled, realizing that Johnny had taken his words literally. "Johnny, that's not quite what I meant," Mr. Jackson said with a smile. "When I say pay attention, I mean focus on the lesson. No actual money involved." Johnny nodded slowly, still not entirely convinced. "So, no change?" "No change," Mr. Jackson confirmed, still grinning. "But if you pay attention now, you'll understand how to make change later." The class settled down, but the mood had lightened. The lesson continued. But every now and then, someone would snicker, thinking about Johnny's innocent but clever response. Johnny might not have learned much about fractions that day, but he sure learned how to get the entire class laughing. As the bell rang and the students gathered their things, Johnny walked out of the classroom with a small smile. He didn't realize it, but he had just made math class a bit more fun for everyone. And from that day on, whenever Mr. Jackson told the class to pay attention, someone would always whisper, "Don't forget to ask for change."